All yours.
Okay. Let me move that mouse. Hi, my name is Anna Bryson, and I am a Michaels designer. And today I am going to show you how to make earrings out of the new tile beads that are hitting the stores as we speak. They're new to Michaels. You see them in the marketplace in bracelets and that kind of thing. And I have a couple examples to show you when we get to that. Oh, we can do it now. Things like these guys. Oh, he's upside down. These guys here, and these here. And Michaels is we are bringing these beads into the store, and you can make your own bracelets. We have, and I'm just going to run through real quick just a little bit about the product, and then I'll jump into the project. So if we want to go ahead and get started. Okay, so the different shapes that we're bringing in, obviously we have the chevron, which is shown here in this earring, and we are going to make its mate here in just a few minutes. We have these slanted here, which makes a cute bracelet idea like this. And then we also have the octagon, which can make something like these guys here. Sorry, I'm trying to, there we go, trying to learn the placement on where everything is here. We also have these simple rectangles, and I'm going to show you the rectangle and the square together because I show that you can mix the shapes. Do it upside down again. Mix the shapes here. And then finally we have these little dome ones, which are fun. And I don't have an example of anything together, but you put them together side by side. You can mix and match some of these things when the holes line up. I've made a little pendant where I have a mix and matched here. Some of the shapes, he's upside down. The shapes are mixed and matched, so you can kind of have fun with them. And then just for reference or for grins here, I have this one I know I showed a few minutes ago quickly, but this right here shows all the colors that all of the shapes come in that we're bringing in the store. So we have an ombre, and actually I have them in order. So like these three colors right here come in. Oh, I'm not showing you, am I? Where are we? Okay. These three colors here are the purple. Let's see if I can arrange this so it's a little better. There we go. And then this is a pink ombre that's coming in one package. And then this is a red, a coral, and a yellow that come in together. The gold and the silver actually come together. I do not have them sitting next to each other on this bracelet, but oh, I lost my angle here. Okay, and then the gray, black, and white come, and I'm sorry I didn't have that one either. We've got the blues, and we have some greens here. So these are all the way the colors come in. There's three colors to pack, and each shape comes in the three colors, if that makes sense. So octagon comes in all the colors, and then the chevron comes in all the colors, and so on. And then also the cool thing that we are bringing in to go with that are these alphabet letters in silver, white, and gold. These all come in like the A's. I'm sorry, the white is just white, the gold's just gold, and the silver is just silver, but it's all the letters. And then finally, what is also I think is fun as a athlete and a sports mom and a sport player myself, we have these fun, and a mom of teenagers, hashtags always fun. We have numbers in the three tones as well. Bringing those in as well. So all the silver and the gold. Sorry, my light's not super fantastic, but on the silver. But anyways, so that's the breadth of the assortment. It's really, it's a great assortment. Like I said, there's numbers, there's letters, there's hearts, there's hashtags in white, gold, silver, and then the letters come in, and then the tiles come in all the different colors. So they're fun to play with. You can see here, my daughter tells me all the time that I am hashtag extra, my teenage daughter. but I like to say I am a rock star. So I
Anna,
make,
those beads are so pretty. Some people are wondering if they're made of plastic.
they're metal.
They're metal.
They're metal. And to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what the coating on top of it, but it seems like it's an enamel paint. And then the letters are embossed into the enamel, but they are metal. I don't know if you can hear it tapping, but they are metal. So they are nice, but they're not like these bracelets. I'm wearing three. I'm wearing two right now. I've worn 3 and 4, and they're not super heavy. I mean, you can feel the weight, so they have good quality, but they're not super heavy where your arm is weighed down when you wear multiples. So those are nice. So it's a good quality product.
And I know that you're going to cover mostly the earrings today, but
Yeah.
somebody did ask, what weight elastic cord did you use for the bracelet?
If you give me just 1 second, I have it right here. I can show you exactly what I used. And it is a Stretch Magic. And of course it's our private brand, which is Bead Landing, of the stretch cord. And it comes in a 3-pack, but it's a fairly light. I don't want to go too light. I don't know what let me see if I have a Stretch Magic here where I can give you a little bit more that has the packaging on it. So it's the same weight as this guy here. Sorry, I have to record all of our Michael's numbers, so I have things written all over the place, so I apologize for that. But it is the thinner, the 0.5 millimeter is what I used on those. And I will show you a little bit of the back, the not so pretty always back, but it's not, I did a decent job here. I just string it and then I tie a knot on the back. It's open. If you can see, I'm come off the screen here. I'm sorry, this is trying to figure this out.
Perfect.
This guy's, you can see the back of the bead is open. It's a little fuzzy, but the back of the bead is open. And then the knot, when I tie them all together, and then I added the glue and then I let it dry. If we have time towards the end, I can string one. It just, pretty much the longest part of the project is stringing it, which you don't use a whole lot of it, and I can just do something kind of small. But you can, I mean, you're just threading it through the whole, just like you normally would with a bead, but you've got 2. And then tying it inside, I tie it inside. I'll do a surgeon's knot, and then I will add a generous amount of glue on there. So this I'd let it dry and then trim the ends. Then you have a little bit of extra space there to add your glue and add your knots.
Awesome. And then
and these are great. These bracelets, I mean, you see them at craft shows, you see them on Etsy, you see them all over the place. So now you can make your own with the products coming in Michael's, and they are coming in. They are hitting the stores, as we all know, delays with the way the situation with the world is right now. So we are they're hitting the stores. As soon as they get them, the stores are getting them on the floor. So just keep checking with your local Michael's. I believe they will be also available online for purchase soon as soon as they hit the warehouse for our e-com. But I don't know exactly what those dates are, but I do know they are hitting the stores I mean, some stores have them out on the floor right now. Some of them are still getting them out on the floor and still receiving them. So just keep checking. These are hitting the stores and they're awesome. Sorry, I got started without talking about it. Okay.
That's okay.
So my
sorry,
hands work faster than my mind sometimes.
That's all right. Somebody did ask specifically, so I just want to clarify. The beads are coming to stores any day now, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
They are hitting the stores. We have over 1,200 stores, so they are, as they're getting in the store, our associates are getting them on the floor as fast as they can possibly can. So these are hot items. People are looking for these things. So I know that we are quickly trying to get them out for you. Okay, so we'll get started on how to make the earrings. I can run through this a couple of times. I know the situation's a little bit different. Typically you have the product with you and you can be making it as we go. If you don't have the product, I'll show it a couple of times to show you, so you have it, ingrained on exactly how to do that. And this is being recorded, so you can always come back and watch it again when you have the product in your hands. Okay, so I'm going to start with a 20 gauge wire. It comes on a spool. I've used this one a couple of times, but you can see it comes on a spool. It's 20. It also comes in, you can also get it in a loose coil. I say coil It's like a wrapped circle, but it's 20 gauge. You can use a lighter weight. I feel the 20 gauge is just a really good, sturdy, but not too thick gauge to weight of wire to work with. So I cut this one to about 6 inches. It doesn't have to be exactly. I'm going to actually cut some off at the end. I like a little bit of length at the end, so I have a little bit to work with when I do my wraps. It makes life a little bit easier to me, for me. So 6 inch, roughly, 20 gauge wire. And then I'm just eyeballing kind of where I think the middle is. And I'm going to I'm just going to bend it in half, but not make a sharp bend. I just want kind of a soft curve, because that's going to wrap around the point of the chevron here on the end. Well, you can't really see it once we shape it a little bit, but it still gives it a nice little look, so it's not distracting to your project. And then I'm going to slide these on, and I have this in a, I don't know if it's necessarily an ombre look, but it's symmetrical. So I'm going to start with a white, and I'm just going to slide these in, and I'm going to get them in both holes. I'm going to flip it over just so I can, and I work this backwards, or upside down rather, so I can make sure I can see the holes and make sure I'm threading them correctly, and I have it backwards. So I'm going to fix that. Turn this guy around. And thread, there we go. It's my angle, I'm just at a weird angle. And I'm gonna move this down, and because I manually did that, I'm gonna have to kind of shove that first one down a little bit. If you feel like you need to get a little bit tighter, you can use one of your one of your pliers and just kind of help pull, just so you get a good tight hug.
If you could move your hands just a little bit.
See, I get to watching myself and not watching the screen. So I just want a tight hug right here around that point of the chevron. So I've got that guy on there. So I'm going to try real hard to stay in this relatively same area. Now I'm going to add the gold, or a gold chevron. And then watching here as again, I have it upside down. And again, for me, it's just easier for me to see. I mean, you can always turn it back over and work that way. It's easier for me to see the holes when I have it upside down. And then I'm going to add the little bit darker teal. This is in the blues. No, I'm sorry. This is actually the teal and this light. They're in the greens. That's the color scheme, greens. I have the white comes with the white, black, and gray. The gold comes with the gold and silver. And then this teal is actually this teal, this light color, and then just a Kelly type green, which would be this green here. That all comes together in one set. So I'm actually using 3 different sets here. I just feel white is a good one to have, and then the metals, the gold and the silver. I should say the metal colors are all metal, but the metal color, I just added the light one, and again, I'm working upside down. And then I'm going to, am I still on the screen here? Yeah, I'm good, okay. And then,
So while you're working there, somebody wanted to know if the beads come with spacers.
They do not. The bead, I actually have a package. I can show you exactly what they look like when they come. Set that right here. Okay, so here is this is exactly how they come. So you can see, like, this is a silver and a gold pack. So it comes in the 2s. Let me see if I have a color package. I do. And then these guys here, this is how, this is just the black, white, and gray. But you can see you get white, and then the gray, and then the black. But there's no spacers within there. I mean, you can use, bead landing. We also carry in our metal section where the findings are, some small, like gold or silver tiny beads. You can also use seed beads. They're great. Spacers comes in clear or any other colors if you're looking for some spacers to go with your project, or go within your project. Let's set this here. These are all great questions. And
And
Landing is our Michaels brand, and that's what these are coming in under.
and they all come with an open back, right? There's none of them that have like a closed back.
There's actually, yes, there is actually, if you can see here, I'll show you each shape's back. There is one, which strangely enough is solid. And it's this tiny rectangular one here. This is the top, side, and the back. So it's all solid. And it might just be the size, but these other guys here, all these other shapes, they all are open in the back. Oops, let me move it down a little bit more here so you can see. They're all open in the back. I don't see if you can see that purple one real well. The slanted guy, but yeah, they're all open in the back. So they're all easy when you do the knotting. When I use the rectangle, I'm usually using the rectangle with some of the other shapes. That's how I've been using them. So the open back isn't an issue. But I think that if you just, keep your knot small, or maybe use a little bit thinner cord when you tie, or even if you want to, you can, do these with a chain and make, it doesn't have to be a stretch. You can do it with a chain at the end. If you use a wire and you build a loop at the end, you can even do that. That might be an easier way to use this guy if you're only using the thin rectangle one. Oh, we're coming out of the screen there. So,
And one final question
yep.
is, does Bead Landing, the brand, sell spacers, or do you think just any spacers that you like best is fine?
Any spacers work fine. Any spacers. Most of our jewelry at Michaels come under the Bead Landing brand, which is a Michaels brand, but we do have other, a few other brands mixed in there with like Bead Gallery, and yes, any of the spacers work. I mean, it all basically just depends on preference. Seed beads, we have a couple. Bead Landing has some seed beads, but there's several different brands out there that we carry in seed beads, and they all will work just fine. The only thing I would say be careful of are if the hole in the bead is really, really tiny. Some of the really small seed beads might have a really small hole, and it may not work with the cord that you're using when you're making your bracelet. So just make sure that your spacer bead will fit the same material that your beads will. Now, sometimes that's a little bit challenging when you're getting into some of the thicker things, more so like leather and that kind of thing. But usually these tiny stretch cords or the wire that I'm using will work through most of the beads. Not all, but most. Okay. So I have a little bit of a gap right here. And that's just because I've got a little coil, or a little kink, I should say. I want to say it's not a major kink, and all I'm going to do to fix that, can you see me? No, let me see. Okay, is I'm just going to kind of use my plier here and my hands on the end to just hold the bead, hold the wire and push the beads down. So simple. Okay, so now we're going to make a wire wrapped loop at the top. So you can see on here, it's kind of hard. It's a little bit fuzzy. You can see that earring in the back looks kind of funny, but I'm going to do a loop, and then I'm going to do a wire wrap at the top. So to do that, I'm going to take one of the wires. It doesn't really matter which one, and I'm going to crisscross it and make like I'm out. Okay, make a little X. I guess it's kind of a weird X, but we'll go with X nonetheless. And then this one's gonna kind of stay out of the way. I'm gonna trim my horizontal wire down to where it's, and I'm eyeballing this, and I'm terrible with measurement, so I'm just gonna say from the end of my chevron to where I'm cutting it's about a 1/2 inch, maybe just a little bit less. I'm gonna trim that and just discard that piece. We don't need that. So you can see now my piece is much shorter. And then from the Bead Landing tool set, you have a round nose pliers. So I'm going to I'm going to roll. I'm going to bend that a little bit out of my way here. I'm going to roll this piece. I'm going to grab the end. So I'm trying not to get too close to my face, but still be in the screen so I can see this. I know the looks a little fuzzy to me, so I hope it's a little bit clearer for you guys. And I'm just going to roll it towards me. So I have a loop here. I'm just going to shift it down a little bit because I want that loop in the middle, best I can in the middle. Let's see. see if I can show you a little bit better than what I'm doing here. So you got that guy here. So now you also have these chain nose pliers in the set. So I'm just going to hold my loop, and I'm just going to take this wire that's in the back that's here, and I'm just going to physically, I'm just going to wrap it around. Now I'm going to kind of hold, because my chevron wants to spin with my move, and I only have 2 hands. So I'm going to do the best I can here to get it started. And now that we're started, just going to wrap it around a few times, or once or twice. I like to do it, maybe twice. Is a good amount of times. And then on the back, I'm going to clip off this little piece here as close as I can. Get rid of that. And then finally, I'm just going to play with my loop a little bit to get him in the middle. And then I'm going to use my wire, this one or the round nose, whatever I can kind of, whenever I need to get in there. And I'm just going to try to get that piece I cut just as flat. Sorry, I'm usually like way closer to my face when I'm doing this. So I'm trying to do it a little bit further back and just smooth that down. So then I have my wire wrapped loop here, and then, so then I have this. Can you see it here? I have my other earring. Now I'm just gonna shape it a little bit, so it's kind of like, if you see here, I have it at a curve, just so when I'm wearing it, it has just a little bit more of an interest. And then we will add our fish hook. I'm just going to take my round nose pliers. I'm going to open that just enough to where I can slide in the loop, and then close him back up. For a mate to my first pair of earrings, first earring. So there we have our, see how I can turn this around. It's totally upside down to me. That's funny. Okay. Oh, I'm still upside down. There we go.
So those look so great, Anna. So you use metal for metal wire, right? Some people are wondering if you could use other like bead thread instead to make earrings.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You can use, we have silk thread, which was nice. You can use, and the nice thing about that is you can use a beading needle, a collapsible beading needle, which will help when you're threading them on, especially if, the holes sometimes are kind of tiny, and with the color, it's kind of hard to see with lighting too. So it's, you can use, those are easier to do your thread. And then you can knot the thread at the top or at the end, and still put your fish hooks through there, or you can use a jump ring if you want to do that. I tried my hand at doing, I don't know, sorry, I turned my back here for a second. These guys here, these little head pins with the little ball, cute little ball, thinking that would be a really cute little end, because it would add these 2 little balls at the end, which it does it really, really cute. However, the only thing that I had is this wire is a little bit more thin than it's not a 20 gauge. I think it's probably a 24. And I found that when I went to wrap it, it was real flimsy as far as on the wrapping. Now, usually I can wrap with these with no problem, but when you have the added, I'm holding this in place, I'm trying to get my loop not to turn and do this, I felt it wasn't as sturdy as I would have liked. But if you want something with just a little bit more thin, I mean, it's sturdy as far as it will hold it together. It was just me wrapping it, and it could have been totally user error, which, happens. So you can use all kinds of things. You can use a silk thread, you can use nylon thread, you can use, like I said, you can use the head pins, eye pins if you want to, hang a charm or hang a little something extra. Maybe if you want to hand stamp a letter and have a little monogram or some kind of fun thing hanging down there, you can do that as well. So
What about leather cording?
Leather cording, the only thing with leather cording, I don't believe we have anything thin enough that will go through the holes on the side of these beads. So that will be, you would have to maybe do something like, and I thought about that. I made this earlier today. I just had an idea, and I thought I was going to make it. So it's like like you wear a collar of a necklace. So it's like a pendant. And so I just strung it on a wire, and then I can add leather on each side with a jump ring, or even if I just did leather through the holes, or I can make the loops even bigger so the leather can fit through, and you can wrap it on if you wanted to go that direction. You can definitely do that. It's just the holes within the, I don't know if you can see real well, but the holes are not really that gigantic. They're kind of thin. You'd need a really, really thin leather piece. And we do have some that are like a 0.1 millimeter, I believe. They're pretty thin, so it might work. I have not tried it. But it's something you can always try. But if you have pieces at home, you can see it. But most of our materials has something pretty thin. Like I said, nylon, the silk thread, stretch magic, the stretch cord. Transite, of course, is a good one. It's also very, very thin and invisible cording. And leather, just the only thing I would say is the size of it to go through the holes. But you can definitely pair it with leather. It'd be really, really cute. I think I showed this a little bit earlier, but also I made this right here where I mixed some of the sizes on how to mix the different shapes and make something. This was just a pendant idea. So I was trying to think out of the box. It's not everything is bracelets, because bracelets are something that you see out in the marketplace a lot. So I wanted to do something a little bit different. So the earrings were fun.
Yeah, everybody loved the earrings. They kept saying how cute they were.
Yeah, they're, and it was simple. I did one, and as I was talking through it and going a little bit slower than I normally would, just so I can, talk through it. And it was, about 15 minutes to make one. So really you can probably make two in 15 minutes. You get, it says 90 grams on the packaging. I'm sorry, 90 pieces, not grams, 90 pieces on the packaging of the octagon of this guy here. I believe that all of the colors are going to be 90 pieces. The silver and gold, because you have two colors, it is a little bit of a lesser count. It's 51, but you still get a lot. And I used I used only five or six pieces per earring here. So you can make several different ones. You can make some for your friends, make some different ones. You can make, like I said, you can make a set, bracelet, necklace, earrings all together with the packaging that with the pieces that you get from one package. Now I did use multiple packages because I used colors across different color schemes, but I still have a bunch that I can use and make multiple projects and multiple ideas, and thinking outside the box like this. This isn't something that you really see out there. I mix the letters and the beads to make a pendant. You can make a barrette. You can cover a barrette, and you can use wire where you're doing wire wrapping around a barrette, or there's so many things that you can do with this stuff. It's really, really cool. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad I've been looking for some of these pieces out in the marketplace, and I was so excited to see that we're bringing them in.
So since we have a little bit of time, some people were wondering if you could show them again how to end the earring with the loop and wrapping it around.
I absolutely would love to. I have one here already threaded and ready to go to show how to do that again. So I will quickly just do a review on how I got to this point. I took a 6-inch piece of 20 gauge wire, and I bent it in the middle. So it is in half, so I bent it in half, and it was all just eyeball. I did not really measure. It doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see here, I'm off on my lengths, and the OCD in me wants to fix it, but I am going to roll with it. So it doesn't have to, that part doesn't have to be perfect. If you saw the first part, we clipped most of that part off anyways. So we have it here. So for the piece that I wanted to do the loop on, and if you saw the first one, I went this piece over. I'm gonna be contradicting, and I'm gonna do the other side. So it doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed. It doesn't matter, any of that stuff. It's just kind of whichever one I grab and pull it over. It's not always the same.
And if you could just pull your hands down and just a little bit other way.
There we go. I
There we
need
go.
like an X right here is what I need. And then, so I have or a target. That's what I should do, like a little light color target. Put your hands here. I'm still out of my. Okay, there we go. Don't move. Okay, so right now you can see I have a little X. I trimmed off a little bit to where from the end of the chevron to here is about a ½ inch. It may be a little bit longer than that, but you know that just depends on how big you want your loop. So if you want a bigger loop and you're going to move it down your barrel a little bit when you do your roll towards you to make your loop, you know, you want a little bit longer. I just eyeball it. I just make my best guess. I'm going to roll this in towards the middle. Now this looks like I did it a little bit longer, but, and I overshot my loop a little bit, but that's all right. We can fix it. Nice thing about the 20 gauge metal is it is forgivable, and you can kind of shape it a little bit and mess with it. And see this circle, this loop's a little bit bigger. Say I'm going to put it on a leather piece, or I want to, you know, pair it with something that's a little bit bigger. And then if you remember this one right here, I had bent way back because it was in the way. This one didn't seem to be in the way when I had it cut, when I went from left to right. Just again, it's all preference. It's all just kind of how you work it. So now I'm going to take this back guy and I'm going to twist.
And if you could just move your hands a little bit.
Yeah, I keep doing that.
There you go.
Thank you for keeping me straight.
Always happy to help.
And then he wants to turn, so you gotta watch. Right here is a little bit of is a little tricky. I'm trying to hold my. Yeah, I'm gonna make my. I am gonna trim this down a little bit because this big loop is giving me a little bit of anxiety. So let's get that guy out of the way here, and then I'm just gonna shape this circle down a little bit more. And then now, am I in there? I'm just gonna wrap this piece around, probably 2 times. And really, I hold this. Sometimes I take it down and just go a little bit more kamikaze. That's kind of how I call myself, the kamikaze crafter sometimes. I just go in and just do it and see what happens. And so just kind of the best way it works for you. If you know, just holding it with 2 hands and wrapping it, if holding your loop. And like I said, I'm not always consistent on the way I do it. Sometimes different projects lend itself to go a different direction. So I just kind of play with what's the most comfortable for me. And then when I get to the back here, I'm going to trim close as I can. Get rid of the trash there. And then I'm going to use I'm actually going to use my round nose pliers, whichever ones you want to use. I'm using round nose just because the shape of my chevron, I think I can probably get in there a little bit easier. And I'm just going to flatten out that wire as flush as I can to, you know, towards the loop, so it's nice and flush on the back. Not that it's going to touch anything or snag anything, but you just never know. So then I have and then I shaped it so it's a little bit of an arc, just to add a little bit of interest when you're wearing it. And then if you want to see how I added this one more time, or I can do it again if you want, I'm just going to open that carefully with my round nose pliers, just enough to slide him in. And you remember, you always want to have your fish hook so that the open of your chevrons are towards the back. Because sometimes we get going and we don't remember to look at those things. I know I do. Then I'm going to close that up. So I'm just not getting a good grip, and I'm trying to stay within the camera here. There we go. So then we've got our little chevron earring. So the same thing, again, I'll bring this pendant back in here, and you know, you can make this as an earring if you wanted to. That'd be a super cute little earring without bending it or with bending it. You can mix and match some of the shapes. I know some of the chevrons are a little bit more tough to mix and match with other ones because of the shape of it, but you can, you know, you can do your octagon with the square. Oh, I didn't want me to grab the same color there. You can do the same color if you want to. I'm just trying to show contrast so you can see the different contrasts on the camera. No, that wasn't a huge contrast, but a little bit. You know, those work well together, and you can bring in the letters if you want to, and you can, you know, there's all kinds of, you can add beads in here. You can do two small, if you have small, like 4mm or small seed beads or whatever, you can add, you know, you have 2 rows if you want to go that direction, or you can do one bigger one where you thread your stretch magic together through the one bead and have it come back out the other side and add more. I mean, there's all kinds of different things. They're very, very versatile. The colors are really, really pretty. And they come in the pink, like a pink ombre. I know I went through this earlier, but I'll go through it again one more time. The pink ombre, all of the shapes come in the pink ombre. All of the shapes come in this in the black, gray, white pack. Then we've got the yellow, red, and coral pack. Then we have a blue ombre and a purple ombre. And to be honest, the purple, the dark one, can also pass as navy. I've done that. And when you add it in to look like navy, it does look like navy. When you put it with the purples, it looks like it can go with the purples, which is a nice bonus. And I don't know if I said the greens, but we have the green ombre, and then of course the gold and silver pack as well. Are there any other questions yet?
Just one so far.
Okay.
So you're using a 20 gauge wire, and somebody asked if they could use an 18.
You can use an 18. I'm thinking, yeah, I think 18. Yeah, I'm playing here, just seeing I think the 18, see how much room you have in here. I think the 18 will work just fine. I wouldn't go much thicker than 18 just because of the size of the holes. But I think 18 will work just fine. I haven't tried it, but just looking at and don't shoot the messenger. I'm just I'm making my best guess here. I'm thinking that the 18-inch will work with the holes in there. I think there's plenty of room in there. I'm just gonna look at different ones, because I would imagine that the molds are the same within the. Yeah, I think an 18 would work. Would work just fine.
And for the bracelet, you said you used a surgeon's knot, right?
I did. And so basically, if you're not familiar with a surgeon's knot, you know, when you tie your shoe, you do the over, and then you slot, you know, you tighten it, and then you do your loops. Well, forget the loop part. The first part of you tie it, and instead of pulling it tight, you tuck it one more time, and then you pull it tight. So really, here, let me see. I've got some stuff here. I can probably knock something out fairly quickly to show you what I mean here. I'm just grabbing a piece of stretch magic. Usually when I do bracelets, I do about 10 inches, and that way I have a little bit extra to work off on the end after they do the knots. And yes, I do waste a little bit, and that's not my normal MO, but with these, I feel it's easier. I'd rather throw a little bit away than fight a lot, you know, fight a tiny piece at the end.
And if you could just move your hands like kind of right over where the blue earring is.
I was like, oh yeah, I'll put that there, but then it gets a little bit busy, so I'll just move those out of the way. And I am going to do this just kind of fairly quickly.
And if you could just drop your hands just a little.
Drop my hands.
That way. There you go.
Okay. All right. So give me just a minute. I'm sorry, this angle is just a little strange here. Okay. So I'm just going to put a couple. Like I said, I guess I don't really need to do a whole lot. I can just show you what it is here. So I just strung this one bead on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie. First, I do a normal overhand knot. So now the surgeon's knot. So I do, like, I'm going to do the overhand knot like you normally would do an overhand knot. The only difference between the overhand knot and the surgeon's knot is I'm going to go one more time around. So there's 2 wraps, and then I'm going to tie it. And it just gives it a little bit of an extra security. And then I will add a dot of glue, just a dab, and I usually use a hypo cement, and it dries fairly quickly, and it dries clear. I mean, it is clear when it comes out, but it does dry clear. It dries really, really nice, and it has a good hold on it, but it still makes the bracelet movable. And that's what I usually do for a surgeon's knot, when I call a surgeon's knot. And I do that on the back, usually. I could trim that.
Could you repeat the type of glue that you use?
Yeah, it's a hypo cement. It looks like this right here. It's upside down. There you go. The nice thing about this glue when I am beading is it has, I didn't have it all the way close, so it dried a little bit weird. It has this like nozzle that fits inside the beads. So I can tuck the knots when I can tuck the knots into the bead, and then I can shove this little nozzle in the bead, and it just adds a little bit of glue to the inside the bead. So it gives to me, it feels like a little bit extra security.
And do you pre-stretch the elastic cord for the bracelet or no?
I do most of the time. Sometimes I get going and I don't remember to do it, but usually I do. And that's just a matter of just kind of doing this right here, which just gives it a little bit more, feels like it, conditions it, gives it a little bit more of elasticity, makes it does the pre-stretching, so I don't have something later that ends up getting too big because it's stretched out. I've already stretched it out. Grab a drink of water real quick.
So I just want to remind everybody that today's class is being recorded, and you can find that at michaels.com/classes, and I will put that in the chat for us all.
Thank you for reminding us on that. I'm going to pull my hair back. Sorry, it's keeps falling in my face when I'm trying to work here. And then if there are any other questions, I can run through the earring one more time, or if there's any other questions about the product, I'm happy to entertain either.
I don't see any questions yet, but people definitely love the earrings, and we seem to have lost the video on your phone anyway, so maybe it's a good time. Just thank everybody for coming to hang out with us. Oh, it's back. Okay, good.
Okay. I was looking to see it was showing connecting earlier, and so I didn't know if I lost connection for some reason. I thought I'd kind of play a little bit, and as see if there's any other questions. And I'm just going to do the same earring with a different shape. Be kind of fun to show something a little different. I didn't pull all the colors out of everything, so I will. I'll just do this one all in the same color family for what, when you purchase these colors all come together. It's a nice little way to show how it comes. And it doesn't have to be as long, it can be shorter, it doesn't matter. And then when I get to 6 inches just seems to be a good starting length for the wire. If you find that you feel like you're wasting too much, you feel free to shorten that. I normally wouldn't do that much. I just, like I said, when I'm doing the wraps and stuff, it's easier to trim than it is to add. So if you have to add, you usually means you have to start over. Now these projects aren't, super time consuming. So if you do have to start over, it's not the worst thing in the world. But I feel that if I have to waste a little bit, but I save some time, then it's not the worst thing. I'm all right. And I'm going to grasp that end with my wire, and I'm going to roll it towards the middle, so I have my loop towards the center. And then I'm going to, this one seems to be pretty easy to wrap. My hand keeps getting in the way. It's to wrap by hand without holding it with the plier. So you just, each one kind of just whatever works or whatever feels the best. You want to use the plier to hold the loop to that, but that just seemed like a much easier way to go on this one. I don't think it would have worked well with the chevron just because the nature of the shape didn't want to share its space with me when I was wire wrapping. And then with the wire wrapping, I mean, you can always just kind of shape it a little bit with your pliers till you get the way you want it to look. And then, you know, if you want to do the arch, you can. You don't absolutely have to. It can be, you know, straight and have a, you know, just a nice horizontal piece there. And that turned out really, really, really cute and really sweet. And then there's that one. And again, here we can do one with these, and I can show you what I mean by how it was a little bit wobbly. I don't think overall it's wobbly as far as the end result. I just feel that it was when I was doing the wrap with the chevron. I will do it with these little dome guys and see what that looks like. I just got these, so I haven't really played with these yet. So I'm just gonna play here and see how I want to do the color. I'm going to do it with the rhodium. The rhodium is the material color I like over the sterling silver, but that's just my preference. I don't like the as bright of the silver. I do like silver, so I just like the rhodium. It's a little bit more, has a little bit darker tone, darker look to it. Just gonna slide. Oh, I missed a hole here. Can you see my staying in the screen there? Okay, so if you can see, it's got this cute little balls at the bottom, and I say I feel it was a little wobbly, and these are going to actually watch. They'll end up perfect and easy. I'm just trimming this one the same way. You have your little crisscross here. I'm going to roll this towards the middle. It goes in the way here. Now I'm going to wrap this a couple times around the base of the loop. I'm actually going to trim that right there. It was a little bit messier, but I feel like with the wire wrapping, it's kind of the look, so it's all right. But then I'm going to shape it a little bit with my pliers here to get a good, pretty little loop here at the top. It's not too shabby.
I think it looks great.
Oh, kind of looks like a ladybug with the little things at the bottom for some reason in the dome. It kind of reminds me of a little ladybug, but it's a cute little idea. Even if it's you know, if you want to do it as, you know, I think these right here would be a really cute, like a necklace. Instead of beads around the necklace, use the little domes. I think those are really, really cute.
Absolutely. And what were the needles called again?
They're head pins. These guys were head pins that I used with this, and it has a little ball on it. It's in our premium metals finding section. So we're all, you know, we've got two finding sections. You've got like where all the jump rings are and the ear wires, and then next to it is the same, you know, similar product that's Bead Landing Premium. So it's a little bit higher quality, and so that's the ones that I like to use. The head pins, these have like a little ball on them. Some of them, you know, you can get a head pin that's flat, but this has just it's a little, I mean, I wouldn't say decorative ball because it's really not a whole lot of decoration to it, but it's not flat. If you want a flat, the flat would be great because it would just be flush against your bead here and you wouldn't see it.
So everybody's just saying thank you for your time and how much they really love watching you make the earrings and the new products coming to Michael. Well,
Looks
sorry,
like we lost
everybody.
her there for a second. Just
It
one
seems
second.
like
We'll be
lost.
right back with you.
Yeah, let's give her a quick second, and if we can't get her back, we'll say goodbye for her. But we really appreciate all of you joining us today, and we hope you had as much fun as we did. See you at Michael's getting these beads, and we would love to see your projects that you make with make it with Michael's. Okay, so it doesn't look like we're going to get Anna back. So thank you all so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you at the next Michael's class. Have a good rest of your day.